Hey, what's going on? This is Garrett with On Target Talks, where we talk about real estate, guns, and fun. And so this podcast is going to be a little bit different. I wasn't planning on necessarily doing this podcast. And, you might, if you have a deductive reasoning, you'll see that I am not in the studio. And that's because it's raining. And since I figured that this would be a little bit different of a podcast, I would be in a little bit different of a location. So I'm currently out hiking out in Arizona. So if you noticed, it is also raining. So bear with me. So I wanted to take a couple minutes and, talk about everything that's kind of transpired in the last week. And so for those that are living under a rock, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while hosting an event. And I wanted to take a couple minutes and chat a little bit about my observations, what I've noticed about people and everything. And so I wanted to get one thing straight and out of the way. On Target Talks is not a political podcast. I'm not going to talk about my political preferences, views, or anything like that. I'm not even going to talk about gun control. My vision for On Target Talks is that it's going to be accessible to everyone, no matter what your politics are, no matter what your thoughts. And so I wanted to chat a little bit what I've seen. And so the last 5 years, a lot of people are hurt. I would almost venture to say that a majority of people have been hurt by everything that's going on. And seeing everyone's reactions over a murder, it's very discouraging. It's really, really sick. So I think that we really need to be mindful of what we're being told and what we're consuming on social media. I want to get this straight, clear, and out of the way. Is that right now, you are being controlled. You are being trained to act and think in ways that are outside of your agency. What do I mean by that? When you pop on social media, other news articles, all those people have an agenda. They want you to think and act a certain way. So my goal is with this podcast that people will be able to, I hope that at least one person looks at their phone differently, monitors their usage. What are they consuming? There are a couple things that I kind of wanted to point out. And one of those things is family. Call me Vin Diesel, but family's important, Arguably, it's the most important thing that we have. And in the last 5 years, we've been trained, there's been an attack on relationships that people have. People almost wear a badge of honor by cutting off family members. Now you might say, there's a time and place. Absolutely. There's definitely a time and place for people that are toxic, people that just want to ruin your life, honestly. And I really want to examine why is there an attack on people's relationships? Why do people want us to be chronically on our phones? Why do people want to destroy, the fabric of society when it comes to interpersonal relationships? Why is that important? Why would people want that? I'm going to let you decide what that looks like and what your reasoning is. But man, it is so beautiful out. It's just raining. We're just hanging, vibing. So the other thing that I want to point out, we're all sharing in the collective experience as we're flying through the cosmos. We need to be mindful of what other people are going through. We need to have compassion. When we stop talking, when we stop listening to other people, and we don't fully understand or fully embrace what it looks like to have proper discourse, that's when things stop changing. Things are not going to get better unless you actively work hard and do uncomfortable things. So when I first recorded my first podcast, I promised you, the audience, that I was going to be as authentic and genuine as possible. And I had another podcast that was all primed, edited, ready to go. I felt it was important to get out these thoughts and conversations because I want this podcast to also encapsulate my experience. Almost like a journal or a diary, honestly, because we are living in unprecedented times. We're living in a space where there's historical events happening all the time. Kind of want to go back to change and what that looks like, because I feel like just complaining about things and not offering solutions, you're just whining at that point. And so I want to kind of lay out a couple things. I have a tattoo. Well, I actually have several if you've been watching. So this is my tattoo. If you notice that each one of these is a different perspective of the same object. And I got it as a reminder that two things can be true at once. It's a reminder that my perspective and someone else's perspective, we could be viewing the same thing and see two completely different things. Now, that doesn't necessarily say, not hold any morals or any kind of values that you have. It's to listen. I love the fact that I get to work with so many different types of people from all over the world with all different religions, all different everything. Because you know what? If I lived in an area where I only interacted with people that looked like me, thought like me, what kind of dynamic person would I be? Honestly, not a very dynamic person. Even when it comes to gun stuff, something that I'm truly, truly passionate about. I love the fact that I have friends that don't have the same thoughts about firearms that I do. Because that makes me a better person. I want to learn more. I want to enjoy and having conversations with people. And I think that's something that we've honestly have forgotten to do, is to learn to speak with each other, to discuss ideas. If you want change, if you want things to be different, it all starts from inside you. The lens that you view the world is the way that you're going to see things. If you're constantly in your phone and you're being fed the most grotesque, awful things, I guarantee you're going to view the world in a certain way than if you just open your eyes, go out for a walk in the rain. I hope that you're able to take some of these rambling thoughts and you're able to change the way that you look at your devices. And I wanted to let you know that I love you. You are loved. We're all in this together. Let's have empathy towards each other. And I'll see you on the next podcast.